I don't know how to do it that way. So I'm just going to do this.
No star wipe or nothing. Like
I'm not skilled, guys. So hello, everybody, and welcome to the workshop number 70. I'm really happy to know my connection is a lot better this time, and I'm not going to be booted off my own workshop. So yeah, we got a great panel. We got a lot of redos over here. Actually, everyone's a redo here. They were here probably a month and a half ago. But before I introduce them, I just want to say, anybody who hasn't seen this before, this is a safe place to be dangerous. With that being said, like, we're not here to make, not trying to hear it being offensive or derogatory or whatever, blah. We're trying to make jokes, trying to think ideas and content. This is basically where you go where an idea becomes a joke, becomes a bit, becomes a set, becomes a chunk, becomes a show, and becomes a special. You know what I mean? It's all about the process here. So, yeah, no angry emails. So yeah, that's pretty much the rundown of it. And we got Elner Kasimov, right?
That's right. Sure.
Okay, and we have Jessica Pigal.
Peugeot.
Damn it, Peugeot.
It's
it's the French words they always get me. And Dante Hale or Halle?
Louisiana.
It's Hale, right?
Yep, Hale.
It's, I was thinking Hale because Louisiana, I'm like, maybe it's French. Halle, I don't know. Okay, so great. We have all you. And we have Heather. She's going to show up a little later. She's having connection issues because it wouldn't be a workshop if someone wasn't having some sort of issues with their internet. But yeah, should be on hopefully here a little later, and then we can go from there. So anybody also has the first time seeing this, I talked to several different comedy groups and asked them if they'd be interested in writing a workshop where I give them my idea for a topic, and they have a week and a half ish to write 3 to 5 minutes on it, and then we give them ideas, comments, tags, like anything that's really productive to their writing ability. And then they get a second set where they choose, it's dealer's choice there. They choose whatever topic they want to work on. And once again, 3 to 5, and we give them ideas, comments, suggestions, etc., etc. I gotta find like a crisper way of saying that. You know what I mean? Like the housekeeping, I always suck at the housekeeping. Anyways, that's where the workshop is. And thank you all for tuning in. And comments before this summer thing. I have no sponsors, by the way. But comments, love them all. Love them all. Bring them in. The only thing is, though, order to have your name on the comment section because StreamYard's a little bit privacy protective. So you have to accept StreamYard as a Lord and Savior. It's in the link. And once you do, your name will be shown on the comment. Otherwise, I'll make comments that have like anonymous, with Guy Fawkes mask, and just gonna read them as is. And anybody can take credit. You can make a really funny comment, and then someone else will take credit for it because your name's not on it. So that's all that is. That's I guess StreamYard's a sponsor, but that's not paying us. But yeah, that is it. And without further ado, everybody. We have our panel here, and Jessica, would you be okay with going first?
Absolutely.
Wonderful. So a week and a half ago, I assigned you the topic of bands. So I'm looking forward to what you got to say. I'm just going to put the timer on. So whenever you're ready, you got bands.
How do I sound? My voice still working? All right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
In the modern world, where technology gives each and every one of us constant access to approximately 7 billion other pricks with too little sense and too many opinions, banning has become one of the primary ways we declutter our lives from a colorful variety of trolls, jerks, and malignant weirdos. You can ban, block, boot, unfriend, unfollow, unsubscribe, and you don't even have to give a reason why. The concept has become so popular that recently a microscopic pathogen banned going outside, going to work, going to bars, going to parties, and pretty much everything else that isn't lying on the floor sobbing and eating donuts. But at a time when everyone who wasn't already paired up was banned from the very concept of human intimacy, I received an unexpected deluge of sexual attention. Because I have acquired what is technically known as a fuckboy. For the last several months, I have had an extremely confused straight man blowing up my phone and sending me dick pics from the COVID-ravaged wastes. Though rest assured, they have consisted exclusively of portrait photographs of former President Richard Nixon. And the guy in question is a fellow comedian who goes by the stage name Justin Chan, the Asian Man, who is a ripped former Hong Kong drug dealer and hot wing eating champion with the dubious honor of Vancouver, Canada's most banned comedian, which he earned in no small part by monologuing like a supervillain at anyone who will listen and dressing like the sort of man who only hits women when they don't have his money. And I assume that sometime in early March, Mr. Chan asked himself, what is the most upsetting person I could possibly seduce? And he landed unerringly on sexually inexperienced autistic pseudo-lesbian. And when this all started, he told me that he had a policy of waiting at least 40 days before he lets things get physical with a girl. And I don't know if you're all familiar with the origin of the word quarantine, but it's actually an Italian term that means 40 days. He said that to me on a Saturday, and on Monday the entire city shut down. Which is fitting because much like the coronavirus, Justin Chan is a nebulous threat of Chinese origin that has murdered an unknown number of elderly grandparents. Now, I'm aware that the common practice in these circumstances is your standard mock and block. But in my defense, this was significantly less stressful than everything else going on. And nothing makes me safe like texting a dude from behind free locked doors at an undisclosed location several miles away. And to be clear, I don't think he's making fun of me. This is not some kind of elaborate practical joke at my expense. He has genuinely decided that I am the ideal woman, which is concerning because the only reason to date me is if you want a girlfriend who doubles as a father figure. That's it for me.
Holy shit.
That's a good cause.
I appreciate all of your material and your personality. It's so great. I love the listing. You're going with the bands like that. I love that. I also, as a premise, I feel like bands are like they're not special anymore. Like they're so often. You know what I mean? Like
it's so easy to get banned.
But exactly. Like back in the day, you'd be like, it's kind of like a seal of approval. Like, whoa, I did this. I got banned. Like it's like a tattoo. You know what I mean? Like something like not the worst. Like a scar. Like where'd you get that scar? But with bands, yeah, I feel like it's just anybody can get
teardrop
banned.
Tattoo for every band I've gotten from a forum.
Like bands are slutty. So I'm saying, like they go everywhere. Anyone can be banned. What else I put down? When you made that 40 days reference, I feel like there's like a Noah's Ark joke there.
This is
exactly.
Yeah.
Except for no bats.
40 days of dick pics.
But no bats. That's the only thing. I loved your father figure line. It really got me. Yeah, that's all I got. Anybody else?
Yeah, I was gonna say the 40 days reminded me of like 40 years in the desert that the Jews were walking around.
Yeah, it's a very biblical term.
Yeah. It was good as it is because I think it's a
reference to Lent. To be honest, he is Catholic.
Okay, but I didn't expect you to go in on somebody at all compared to like last time, and I mean it was great. He
asked me to write a routine about him. He explicitly asked me to, and I'm like, you're not gonna like it. I'm like, he's like, no, I love it. And I'm like,
serial killers want the same thing. They want that. They want that exposure. They want to be known.
It's just the attention. The worst thing I could do is ignore him, I think.
Yep. Worst you can start East Coast, not so East Coast. West Coast, and slightly further down, further away from the coast, beef, and that will be it.
I thought you could have threw in like something like the only way it could be banned more is if they like encased him in amber or like maple syrup or something because Canadian.
Yeah.
Like Canadian.
Yeah, like sort of dig into like a more exaggeration on like how banned he is.
Syrup. How about syrup and feather?
Maple syrup and feathered him. Okay.
And have him drift away on a Zamboni.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knew me for about a year before starting to talk to me. And then, like, I mentioned, I'm like, oh, I was on this queer showcase. He's like, you're queer? And I'm like, buddy. Honey.
It's clear you didn't notice, sir.
I understand that my raw sexual charisma can be very confusing, Mr. Chan.
That's too funny. Although I can relate to a degree to it, because like I mean I was naive for the longest time. Like my best friend is a queer in Edmonton actually, and she had like she's patient with me because she saw she met my parents. Like, oh, okay, it all makes sense now. Like, you don't like you're just naive, like very, but like I want to learn. I just
I'm curious.
yeah,
That was something I realized when meeting other people from rural areas is like to urban people I read as a lesbian, and then to rural people they're like an academic.
Oh, it's too funny. Yeah, great job, great set. I just like your cadence. I love your cadence. Okay, with that being said, Elner,
Cool.
I contacted you a little bit ago and they gave me the topic of stuns, which is open to interpretation. So I'm really excited to hear what you got to say about the word stuns.
Boom. So yeah, stuns. So I was asking when first Scott gave me the word stuns, I was like, okay, does this mean like stuns as in like, oh, this woman is so stunning, or is this a stun grenade? Something like that. Like I have experience with stun grenades, but none of it is funny. So I figured there's another version of stuns, like stunning a fish is something I'm going to be telling you about today, because I think it's a worthy experience. So just to give you a little bit of background, stunning a fish, it was basically involving, by definition, a strike with a blunt object that will make it less conscious than it was before. That's the definition. But some fish are Rambo fish. And that day I met Rambo fish, and he would not go down. So I'll give you a little bit of a backdrop to how all this occurred, right? So around in like 2012 or something like that, I was working in the Rocky Mountains. I was working at a sawmill. So sawmill is it's a creepy place in Alberta to work at, but I had fun. It's where I discovered redneck shit, like, you know, tarp jacuzzis on the back of an F-150, or like jousting with tractors and stuff, and like 2x4s. It's an interesting spot. But also like fishing and actually like doing stuff like that. I thought, okay, let's try to do that. So I had a friend of mine come visit me from Israel. And I was staying in a very, very tiny town. Like the town was super tiny. It had one stoplight and one bar called Swamp Donkeys. I'm not joking. It's a real thing. Look up Swamp Donkeys. It had great trivia nights on Monday. It's an interesting spot. So basically, the guy came to Calgary Airport. I picked him up on a motorcycle with like a bunch of like bullshit that he got, all his luggage. We couldn't find a car to rent, so we took the motorcycle. Then we decided, okay, let's go to Banff and national parks and stuff like that, and go hike there. So for a couple of days we hiked, and just before that we were at Jasper National Park. But we were at Banff itself. So we're walking around, and he's like, yo, man, we're gonna be hiking. We should buy bear spray. I'm like, nah, that shit's a scam. Like, don't buy bear spray. And he's like, no, we should buy bear spray. So eventually, he got me to buy bear spray. I'm cheap as fuck, so I'm like, fine, I'll split it with you. And then we see a store where it had a skeleton. Like, my friend is like 5'4". This bear is like 8.5 feet tall. And I'm like, you're seriously telling me you're gonna stare that thing in the face when it's coming at you full force, spray it, and just stand there? Fuck you. You're gonna shit yourself and run, which, is turn. You don't need to buy this stuff. So then we decide, okay, forget hiking. We need to try to fish. Now, none of us know how to do it. instead of Googling it or looking it up or anything like that, we decided to just swing it. So I borrowed the fishing rod and like the whole tackle box thing from a girl I worked with at the sawmill. Now they're all rednecks, so they know what's up. But what I got was a hot pink fishing rod and a matching tackle box. All beautiful, fabulous, hot pink. So here we are, two dudes that did martial arts for most of their life, walking around with one pink fishing rod, because we're like, we don't need 2 licenses. We only have 1 fishing rod. We'll just pretend the other person was fishing. Ghetto style. So we'll go. And that's what we were doing. So we tried. Again, we don't know what the fuck we're doing. So we took the line. We put the rock, the worm, the bait, the other bait, the third bait, the other rock, the floater thing, all that shit, put it on one line, and then threw it in the water and waited. Now, if you've never gone fishing, that shit does nothing. All your shit is just scraping the bottom of the lake. That's what we were doing. But between us, we were fighting each other. We were fist fighting, like blood-wise, to like, hey, fucking, you're doing it wrong. Eventually, we found some veterans that actually like were like, hey, we'll teach you how to fish. So these guys actually like showed us how to do it and all this kind of stuff. And the next day, we go up to the stream. The stream had tiny little fish, like this big. We caught them. And we're like, okay, sweet. Now we know how to do it. We run up the hill. We're running up the hill, singing and dancing because there's a lake up the hill. Up the hill, there's a lake. So and the lake is clear. We can see the fish. We're like, fuck yeah, we're going to get this done. Homeboy over there is standing with his wife, shooting a line, and every time brings back a giant fish, throws it in this one to his wife, which she built this little basin from rocks. And we're like, okay, sweet. Then you pick out the couple big ones you want and you take them home. Okay, so we get a couple. They're all in our basin. I picked the biggest one. I'm like, well, there's no way we're going to get a fucking bigger one than this. It's not that big. It was like this big. But okay, I'm like, okay, let me get this motherfucker out and we'll figure it out. Now, I thought once you take it out of the water, it dies immediately. It does not. Now, I took it out of the water. I throw it on the ground. Fish is flopping. My buddy is still like with his line. Every time he looks back at me, I'm doing something fucking else weird to kill this fish. So first time he looks back at me, I'm like looking at him battered all over the phone with dirt. Second time he looks at me, I have a rock in my hand and I'm bashing this fish. Now the grandmother, this is Rambo. He does not go down. So I'm like, motherfucker, okay, I'll go find a bigger rock. Bash the motherfucker against the head. I'm like, okay, I got to have a counter surface. So I find this giant rock, put him on the rock, bash his head. Nothing. It's Rambo. He's still looking at me. He's like sizing me down, you bitch. Hit me already. I'm like, okay, fine. Next time that my friend looks at me, he sees me with both my hands around this fish's tail, smacking him against the big rock. Finally, I killed Rambo. It took a while. I killed Rambo. We ate him with some lemon and some homemade fries and some rice. It was great. And that was how I brought down Fish Rambo. So stunning fish is the thing.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
How much, with all the damage you did to the fish, how much could you eat? Like, you fucked up a fish.
There were
like,
things that were
like 65% of it. Like, you fucking
most of it.
cattle prodded it, punched it, squished it. Like, was it still edible?
You know what?
You're just eating it because of like you're spiteful. Like, no, I'm gonna fucking eat this whole thing.
You know, we didn't have to worry about bones on the inside. It's more like eating like one of those fish fillets from the thing.
For sure, you broke all of them.
Yeah. One eye
the,
came out halfway through. I didn't want to say it because it would ruin the fun.
So I wrote a few tags and premises. I was like, when you said stunning fish, I'm just picturing the laziest fisherman, just like fucking, just tasting the water, the lake. And then you put down redneck trivia. I put like, what's a redneck's interpretation of trivia? How many sisters have you pregnated? That's for me. And I put down, you had a pink fishing rod from your female coworker, and I put down, was it bedazzled? Yeah, and I just like how you're beating the fish the same way in the movie Office Space where they beat the printer.
I have not seen this, but now I will.
It's a great scene. Just put Office Space printer on YouTube, and you'll. It's just the most. It's the most gangster but saddest way of fucking.
When you're scared to stun the fish, it's like you hit it with a blunt object to make it less aware. It's like, yeah, this is a Rambo fish. I hit it, it got more woke. It told me I need to do more to destroy the patriarchy.
Oh, that's too funny. Anything to add there, Jessica?
Yes, I do. So, Elner, like one of the things I love about your style is you're just obviously so enjoying the story you're telling, and it makes it delightful to listen to you. One thing I would say is like your syntax and delivery is very funny and engaging, and I'm super enjoying listening to you, but you don't really have any big laugh lines.
Yeah.
Either because you're not punching them enough, like you're not indicating to me like where I should be laughing by like really emphasizing like the punchline, or it's because you are like you sound funny, you're talking about a funny subject, but you are not adding in like those stronger jokes and elaborations and I think a lot of it would go better with some more colorful metaphors. Like you could make an allusion to Rasputin if you're familiar. Just this fish will not die, and I think adding a little bit more of like, and like thinking not just like with your setup, like asking yourself what information is necessary for people to get the joke versus like what is just background color that I'm not really setting up any joke with or setting up any essential information with, versus like of my setup that is essential, am I making it funny? Like am I putting in not just like a generally interesting story, which this is, but a comedy set that has built-in jokes and punchlines.
Like a punch every 2-3 seconds. Normally, the rule of thumb is like a punchline every 2 sentences. Just kind of have their attention the whole way.
Yeah.
When you said the Rambo thing, I was just thinking like you can totally make so many Rambo references. I don't know how universal they are. I think a fair amount of people know Rambo. Like somebody killed that fish's Chinese girlfriend, or you know what I mean, like whatever. I never watched the movie, but I know his girlfriend got killed or something. You know what I mean? Like you can totally make those kind of references. You can make a Stallone reference. You know, just more like Rocky. Than, you know what I mean? Like I think you can do a lot of different little things. Like I will break you. You know what I mean? You can totally, there's a lot of things you can totally play with that.
Yeah. A lot of times,
like the way you deliver reminds me of Leslie Jones's last Netflix special, where like she tell you these stories and just her personality was all that was needed that gets you in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say you have that type of delivery.
I just thought of a really funny concept for your fish story. It's like you were a fish out of water when you're dealing with a fish out of water. Like the fish is trying to, like the fish is giving you instructions. Like, all right, grab the rock right there. So you can do like totally different angles with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I sometimes I punch up, like I have punch ups, but sometimes because I get so excited, part of my delivery is like I get excited and I forget them. And then if I do practice it and get like a whole like word by word, letter by letter down, I feel like I might be mechanical and it won't won't happen. But you're right. Like
I can appreciate that because like I read you don't have to go like word for word. You just need your power words. You need to know your beginning. You need to know your end and some of your middles. You can kind of like wing it from there, but you got to have those power words.
And watch yourself on speed. This is not me telling you to go slower. Obviously, I have a very fast delivery style. But what I would say is like for some of your jokes, like they would really benefit from like a dramatic pause. You know, when you have your joke, like I expected it would die, that it just dies immediately. It does not. Like that's a very funny line, but it's much funnier if like it's just that much funnier if you're like you think I just thought that it dies immediately. It does not.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, very. You are a good storyteller. You just need to like learn the things here and there, but yeah, it's very funny and it's relatable too. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing I like about the approach. Yeah, good job, Dante. I contacted you a little bit ago and asked if you'd be up to do it again with World Explorers.
World Explorer.
And I'm a history nerd to a degree. Like I'm not gonna like fucking pay for it, but like I love learning on YouTube from time to time. So that being said, whenever you're ready, I'll put the timer on.
So, this is the funny part about like when you're trying to write something about a profession you know nothing about. Like, I've been working as a comedian for the last few years. So basically, like, welcome to my short case unemployment set. But I would say, like, Venmo me some contributions. But even when there was an economy, nobody wanted to pay me for my comedy. It's fine. But I should consider a change of gig. Like they say, the statistics say in America right now, 6.5% of the total workforce has decided to change professions since the beginning of the pandemic. None of those people happen to be comedians, which I find suspicious. Like, what the fuck is wrong with us? Like, and nobody has decided to become a comedian all of a sudden now either. Like, few of us are mentally or emotionally equipped to do anything but tell jokes. The room full of people who think they're fucking funnier than us. And since none of those people who change jobs switch to comedy, I'd like to say right now, those people should shut the fuck up forevermore. I now declare hecklers extinct. Thank you. But I would like a new job, but nothing going on today. I like challenges, ducking danger, dodging ex-girlfriends. I wish I could get work as an explorer. Like, I know there's not a lot left to explore. Jeffrey Epstein has fucked kids on nearly every different job. But a guy can dream, right? Like, I would love to be an explorer. You make your own hours. Like, what's your boss gonna say? Like, you're not discovering shit fast enough. Like, okay. Like my ship's registration is expired. You know what happens to a black man when the ship gets pulled over. You know? Plus, explorers got famous, but didn't have to deal with the trappings of fame. You know what I'm saying? Taxes, let the serfs worry about that shit. You know what I'm saying? Plague, bitch, I'm on a boat. You know what I'm saying? Medieval TMZ didn't pop up like, excuse thee, King George says thou art a bitch. Respond. But I think that the best part of being an explorer would be that the women I date would have to just be okay with ghosting. I'm an explorer. Like, wench, I got to get back to work. Like, wait at the shore for a letter in a bottle. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's all.
Oh, I love your energy, man. It's so fun. So fun to watch. I remember a few things. I feel like it'd be funny if you talk about like the comedians, like, you know, it's like people that haven't done comedy, so they don't, like, you know, like all people are switching their jobs, but they never make comedians. I feel like you can do like what are jobs related to comedy? As an example, but then like a lot of the comics are considering being bathroom attendants. I mean, because at least they get tips for dealing with shit, something like that, something lame. You know what I mean? I wrote down one joke and then I'm stopped. But Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile Indiana Jones with short round always his love interest. I mean, I know it's darker, but I think cartoony. I can't help it, but just the whole World Explorer thing and Jeffrey Epstein. There's something. I know South Park made fun of it with the Super Adventure Club, whatever. But there's something. It's something very not fun. It's tragic, but like there's a lot of creativity you can do with the World Explorer Jeffrey Epstein thing. That's all I'm saying. Like National Geographic for kids. I don't know. Sorry, not sorry. No comments are happening yet, so whatever. I don't know if we're watching now. Yeah, but good stuff though. I always appreciate your style and your energy and your approach, and you're a really good writer.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing about my writing. I actually only write one-liners, and then I just fill in as I go.
Well, dude, I get it. Like I write one-liners like constantly, but I don't want to just be the one-liner comic, so I'll try to sprinkle them in my sets, and like slowly finding a way of doing that. But yeah, man, I can. Yeah, it all blended well.
Thank you.
Eleanor or Jessica?
I have a comment. Well, just maybe a tag if it's basically you're saying like ghosting was my job. I would ghost the king. I would ghost the taxes. I would ghost the pirates. Of course, I'm gonna ghost you too. That's it.
Jessica, do you have anything to add?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay.
Oh, that was really cool. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, no. I mean, I saw Explorers. I'm like, oh, I'm excited where he's gonna go with this one. Yeah, good job. I guess Heather's still having issues, so I guess I'll go. I'm gonna apologize in advance if I offend anybody who's religious, because my topic was prayers. So yeah, I'm not trying to be malicious about it. I try to be like legit, genuine with how I feel. So when I wrote this, it was pretty much freestyle writing. I just wrote and I didn't edit. So this might be a mess, but that's the fun of this. So here we go. I'm never sure how to feel when someone says that they'll pray for me, because as much as I appreciate the intent, it feels slightly counterproductive, if anything. Like, if I was lifting something heavy, I feel like it would be better if you physically helped me lift the object rather than pray that I made it safely. You know, I'm just like, I'm not a religious person, but I can respect someone else's religion. Like, I can appreciate what a prayer. Well, sure, I can respect someone else's. I mean, I had no qualms with religious people as long as we're not dicks about it. You know, like I can appreciate what a prayer represents, that someone wishes you well, but there's a part of me that feels actions are just as strong, or if not even stronger than a prayer, right? Like, prayers feel like the nicest way to justify that you want to show that you care, but not enough to physically aid or send money to somebody. You don't want the guilt of being human, so you compensate through prayer. You know, like, once again, I'm genuinely not trying to slam on religious people, just people in general, right? Like, it's okay to not want to help everyone. It takes so much energy to help one person, never mind an endless stream of strangers. Like I said earlier, I'm not religious, so I don't pray, but I do hope. I hope for a better life for all of us. I also hope that no one requires my assistance to do that. Right? There's a difference between hope and a prayer. Hope is a feeling that you would get when what you expected or wanted, and prayer is thinking that you'll be granted that without doing anything. So hope is labor, where prayer is the welfare department. And that's all I got.
Nice.
Nice.
Felt like a monologue more than anything.
It was monologue-ish. I could.
Yeah.
It was good. You were tentative because of the subject.
Yeah. It's like I don't want to step on this.
I'm an atheist myself, and like when I do a lot of Bible Belt America stuff, and holy shit, you wouldn't believe how many Confederate belt buckles there are out there.
Oh
But
shit, yeah.
like I commit. The most they can do is boo me.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like, I mean, I'm not so much like being timid as much as I want to be like, I generally want to be how I feel. I don't want to just be say something to get a reaction, right? And I did have to feel that for a long time. Like, I'd rather have someone take an action rather than a prayer. And I feel like, actually, Jeselnik touches on that. He has a joke about the whole thoughts and prayers thing, about like how people just want to get attention rather than rather than help. So I wasn't trying to go his route, but like I did. That's how I sort of like felt. Like, I'd rather have I believe that a prayer, the intention's good, but I feel like there's more to it than just a prayer. Like, those kids in starving countries are not going to be able to fucking eat prayers, So yeah, that's all. And that's the thing. I wasn't, and I didn't want to be malicious about it. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be as Scott as possible, if that makes any sense. But yeah, that's what I did.
I think a big part of the intent of what you're doing is sort of like you're both trying to express, and this maybe muddles it a bit, because you're both trying to express your perspective and express empathy for somebody who is religious and who does express well wishes in that manner.
Mhm.
And I think you should more clearly separate the two so that like you're expressing one and then the other rather than expressing the one, interrupting yourself with the other opinion,
Right.
expressing the one
Like-
again.
Right. Okay.
And I also think that like you can give us a more like metaphors are shortcuts to understanding. They're a way of giving people a very clear mental image of the kind of thing you mean. So like what you're doing largely in that bit is you're explaining your perspective, but you're not really giving me a vivid image
Right.
of
Okay.
what you mean by like somebody who's just like when people say I'm praying for you, and you know what I'm currently doing is like when people say like, oh, I can't be there, but you'll be in my prayers, like, you know, like basically what that person is saying is just like, yeah, I'd like for you to be helped, but I don't want to help you, so I'm just gonna send a happy thought your way, hope it hope it bangs off a piece of mystical luck and makes the sofa 10 pounds lighter. Like, I don't know.
And something doesn't happen. I'm going to take credit for it because I sent that prayer out to you.
Yeah. And part of the reason why part of the reason why religious people and non-religious people say things like that is because we don't want to explicitly say like, yeah, sucks, I can't fucking help.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Quick question. That last joke I did, I was like, I think this makes sense. Like the welfare thing. Was that a good analogy for it?
Yeah, good analogy. You remember last time we did this, you were saying like when I did the give kids AIDS joke.
Yeah.
You gotta commit, man. Give kids AIDS, like not literally, but figuratively, and you commit to the motherfucker. Jump in there.
All right. I'll be more committing. I get to that. I just want to come off like I'm being edgy for the sake of being edgy. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's fair.
But in a sense, also like if they're legit, what are they gonna do? Like if they're legitimately super Christian and praying people, they should be praying for you. That's the only thing they should be doing.
Here's what I would say about like the like being edgy for edgy's sake versus like be it confidently. I think you have to commit to a persona.
Mhm.
And if you're just sort of blithe, like dude who's talking about shit, like that's a bit funnier than like, oh, I'm being like genuinely conscientious.
Right.
Sort of maybe just commit more to like dude who's just saying shit and like not necessarily trotting gently around a subject.
And have a
like,
point though, kind of thing. Like
have a point, have a perspective, like, and like keep those caveats because I think they make sense and I think you can riff off those in a very funny way. But just commit a bit more to the perspective of like a dude who's just like genuinely well-meaning, but is just being a bit cavalier about other people's belief systems in a way that is critical and self-reflecting on those.
Okay. One thing I just remembered now, and I wish I ever wrote down, but this actually happened. I was working at McDonald's. Someone's like, "How you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just doing fine." Blah blah. It's like, "Well, I'll pray for you." I'm like, "Why?" Like, I was like the biggest insult.
What
like,
could happen?
Pray for you. I'm good. Because I was like, I just thought like, oh, I was working minimum wage. I was whatever. I was living with my parents. But like, I'll pray for you. Like, that's like the big. That's like the Christian backhand. I feel like. But yeah, no, that's fair. Maybe I'll commit more to my points. Thank you for the feedback.
Christian backhand is a very strong two-word statement. That would be hilarious. Like the Christian backhand would be like. I think there's a lot of potential just using that word for like a lot of things.
Christian backhand. I remember that.
In a Pentecostal church in the South, I've received a Christian backhand.
Be gone, demon!
That's exactly what you said, Richie.
That's how pastors get away with abuse. Oh no, I was abusing him. He was just he was possessed. I had to take care of the demon. Yeah, no, thank you. Unfortunately, we don't have any comments. I don't know what's going on. That's okay. My feelings are hurt on the inside. They don't show on the outside. But yeah, awesome. So I think waiting on Heather. Hopefully she joins, but if not, worst case scenario, she joins late. We'll have her do 2 sets back to back. But right now, we'll just do a rotation where we do the material that we wanted to do to work on. So, Jessica, did you have 3 to 5 that you would like to work on?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I'll put the timer on and whenever you're ready.
Isn't it weird that the government is spying on us? We know that the government is spying on us, and we've all just decided it's cool. Like, it's not great. It's not ideal, but it's fine. 20 years ago, if a man stood on a street corner screaming about how our televisions are watching us back, you'd think he was crazy. Nowadays, he's just like, yeah. How do you think Dora the Explorer knows your every move? But it's not just the government spying on us. It's Facebook and Amazon and Wendy's. Big Baconator is watching. And why does IHOP need my address? Why does the cashier at Target want my postal code? Come back with a warrant, Costco. And it's insane both how much information big corporations have and how they still manage to know nothing about us. I check my analytics page, and Google thinks I am a 60-year-old Lithuanian Jew with a passion for home renovation and high-end sports cars, which is a very specific brand of midlife crisis. The targeted ads I get are this fascinating combination of woodworking, adultery-based dating sites, and Zionist propaganda. My phone tracks everything from my show schedule and 10 favorite songs to my exact position on the surface of the globe and hourly updated rectal temperature. But every time I misspell ennui, it autocorrects to Enugu, which is a city in southern Nigeria I have also never heard of. Maybe I shouldn't judge a 5-ounce handheld computer for its language skills, but my brain's about 3 pounds of unusually clever gelatin. I don't have a satellite connection or rooms full of backup servers, and you know full well I do not mean ducking phone. Let Jessica swear. Poop. There is nothing more frustrating and useless than getting mad at a big corporation. Like, you can call them, you can yell until you're blue in the face, but no one at that call center has any more power than you do. Verizon may have slipped a clause into the terms and conditions allowing their CEO to eat deep-fried pet guinea pigs and personally launch my grandmother into the sun, but Mandy from customer service has done me no wrong. You've been nothing but good to me, man. And when I'm ready for my Kill Bill-style rampage of revenge, you are off the list. Call in sick next Thursday, Mandeep. We actually called up our internet company late last year to ask them to extend our student discount, and through some kind of administrative error, they are now billing us a negative $35 a month. Telus is currently paying me to illegally stream every episode of Game of Thrones in 8K Ultra HD simultaneously. I'm not even watching them. It just feels like a waste not to use the bandwidth. They owe us around $300 now, and I'm not sure whether to submit it to collections or just to send a pair of large, sweaty men with crowbars to their corporate headquarters. And as part of our new Bizarro World internet package, we got bundled landline and cable, which we have not and likely will never install, as much as I'd like to watch season 87 of Who Wants to Be a Bachelor. It feels like in the past few years, we hit a tipping point where so many people had switched to cell phones and so many landline users had died off due to natural selection that telemarketers have finally crossed the technological divide and followed us over the gap. And I'm not a vengeful, violent person, but if tomorrow we passed a law giving robocall scam artists the death penalty, I would only feel mildly conflicted. Go tell Wendy's to go fuck themselves.
As you're saying. Let's go to tell Wendy's to fuck themselves. One of the best closers I've ever heard. That's a callback too, isn't it?
Yeah.
I only wrote one thing because it was so smart for me. Like, I just didn't know. Like, I don't know what to add. This is so well written. So the only thing I wrote down was like the government spying on us and we know it is like the equivalent of like, oops, I dropped this pencil, I better bend over and pick it up. That's the vibe I got when
Oh
you said that.
no! What if the NSA sees? Ooh.
Yeah, like the Marilyn Monroe thing with like Social Security or something. Like, oh, my cards. Yeah,
My
very
personal
funny.
revealing, identifying information. Oh,
They already have it. Like that. Like,
I think that's something funny you could definitely can add on to that. But yeah, I couldn't think of more tags or anything. It was just enjoyable.
yeah. Jessica, you are one of the better writers I've ever had contact with. You're awesome.
hey.
If
I concur.
comedy begins again, I'm totally booking you. And not only will I
get
book
past
you,
the
I'll
border.
make sure you get paid because that's the problem. There's a problem in some places. I don't know if you had that problem in Canada. I don't know.
Well, I've been really excited recently because the other day I was offered a headliner slot for only the second time ever, and it is
Nice.
at a nude beach though. It is at a nude beach.
Oh. Vancouver?
Like, do I in Vancouver?
Yeah, I
They're
know
like,
that
do I
one.
have to be naked? Is that required? Because I will get naked. I do like 20 minutes is a lot for me, but I will get naked. I just want to know if it's optional before I get ahead of myself.
I'd show up in one of those Mr. Body outfits from that kid. With the airbrush and stuff. Oh yeah, I was totally fake.
It's part of your show now. Part of your show is the news fact.
Anything else there to add, Elmer or Dante?
Good job. I liked the flow, the beginning rhythm. Like there was a lot of like, I kind of liked all these references. They were all kind of all piled up together, and then the reference with the suggestion of like the something 6-year-old Jew something.
Oh yeah, 6-year-old Lithuanian Jew with an interest in home renovation and high-end sports cars.
Oh my God. You
Like-
could have.
So
Yeah,
I
you
give
could.
a question though, because like you have so many jokes that you don't even give like the response for. You know what I mean? Like you just keep
Yeah.
going through it, and you have so many fucking funny. I feel like there's some funny lines you should kind of slow down and let that like hit. Like some
Yeah.
jokes are like funny and then funny. You know what I mean? Like there's you put
So, like,
you
some things
basically
are
say
just-
like 30 jokes in a minute. That's you know what I mean? Like I'm exaggerating, but that's how it feels. Like you give us
Very
time to like
rapid
resonate what you just said and appreciate it.
I feel like I'm always kind of torn between two impulses. One is like slow down so that people understand you and can appreciate your jokes, and the other one is speed up. So if one of these jokes doesn't land well, or if they have no idea what you're talking about, we can just move on.
Maybe you can compromise and go halfway. You know what I mean? Like I said, like pick the jokes that you know, that you love, that you know, like the words, whatever the titles, and then like give them some space to breathe. And the other ones, you may go a little bit, you know, just go your regular flow.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because you need to be appreciated for your writing. That's for damn sure.
Is there something maybe like a specific suggestion that Lithuanian Jew blah 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 will require? Like here's a toaster or something like that, and then you kind of bring it back throughout the set.
Yeah, I see. I have a lot of jokes about how I look really Jewish because everyone who meets me, they're just like Jewish, and I'm like, French Catholic.
Not at all. Yeah.
Very not. They're like, what about your mother's side? I'm like, German. It's worse. But one of my favorite ones, and it's not in this one because I've used it elsewhere. But I whenever I tell people I'm a comedian, whenever I tell people I'm an entertainer, they always ask, you know, like, oh, what bar mitzvah needs a magician?
oh.
I'm like, that's hurtful, but okay.
That's just mean.
You know, that is something I was called in a roast. That being
I've
said,
seen bar mitzvah magicians.
yeah, like how many bar mitzvah magicians could there be? But I think my favorite thing I was ever called in a roast, and don't get mad at the dude who said this, because I do have a good sense of humor about it. He said I look like my pronouns are it. And I'm just like, that's actually very good. I will laugh at that, even though the audience is horrified.
I said some really harsh shit to my best friend. I still feel bad for her, but like I'm so dedicated to the joke, I had to do it, kind of thing. But like, I don't know how she saw my friend after what I said.
No, the worst part is like if you have family in the crowd, like I had that once, and they always knew I was the weird kid, but now I'm the black sheep of my family. Meaning now I am a black sheep, which means I could get shot during the stop or at a barbecue.
So I was thinking of like a joke with the black sheep. Like, please tell me you're adopted by white parents. I was just thinking like that'd be fucking funny. Yeah, always appreciate it, and thank you, Jessica, for your set. That was very very funny. Eleanor, did you have a 3 to 5 that you wanted to share?
I will see what happens with it. Okay, let's go with it. Let's go with it.
You know what this is, man. It's a workshop.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do that. All right, so you know how you at the grocery store, you're waiting in line and those tabloids come at you and you're like, I spent 16 years learning how to read really fast so I can read this shit. It's fucking horrible. It's like the live version of clickbait. It's always like, oh, this bullshit, you know, she kissed him and this person's pregnant and this and that and Will Smith and his wife and all this kind of shit right now. But this stuff is planned. It's premeditated. All these tabloids are meant to evoke an emotional response because the grocery store that I'm reading this at calls this the action aisle. We feel as if this is the most boring part of the store, but they are referring to it that this is where the impulse buys happen, right? And impulse buys are emotional. So they're trying to evoke any emotion from us. So we're like, fuck this. I'm getting this candy bar. This is how I think when I'm on action. And this is how it's all based on this idea of sticking these associations in your brain, like, you know, like Donald Trump that has crooked Hillary and sleepy Joe Biden. This is the same kind of shit. Your brain just associates this stuff. And once in a long time ago, my brain did this to myself, to itself one time. So I was looking up and I was on the bus and I'm riding this bus and it's by a forest. So imagine, I'm going to do it to you now. I'll try at least. So imagine you're seeing a forest in the distance. It's really, really nice. And then my brain decided, hey, those trees that are growing, this is like the earth growing a beard. For some reason, I cannot unsee it. Every time I look at trees now, I imagine scruff, a beard, or something like that. And actually, looking this up right now, I thought about, okay, well, English is my third language, so I'm like, okay, what is the word for that short beard? Oh, yes, scruff. So now I'm going to flip it again on you. Looking up the word scruff, I found out that there is a gay and transgender dating website called Scruff. So now, every time I thought about scruff and trees, now this stuff is stuck in my head too. There we go. That's the 3.
I put down one line for your tabloids, like tabloid came at you faster than the paparazzi that makes them.
Tabloids,
that's right.
Tabloids.
They came at you faster than the paparazzi that makes them. I mean, you can totally make some references. I don't know how dark you want to go, but there's like a Princess Di joke there somewhere.
I had something like that when I was thinking about it, but it's more with the Harry and all that stuff, the hair kids.
Right. And as part of the trees thing, I feel like this is more like my psychological brain going. It's like you always think of bearded trees, so maybe because you're thinking of lumberjacks. You know what I mean?
And then we will play into the next thing too.
Dude, like at the end, you could, like when you thought about, like, okay, because you discovered the scruff thing, you should have ended with something like, now every time I see the trees, I think about Laverne Cox pegging a lumberjack.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I think you can totally go like the most like unorthodox approach, like story, like thing that, like something that I wouldn't even think about when I think of trees, and you just like think like something about like your dad did, and you're like, you know what I mean, like just nothing to do with trees, but like because the word bark was in it, like a dog. Yeah, I mean, like something so inane that's like what? So I think that'd be a really fun angle to go.
So so I think one my favorite joke in this entire thing is the one about regretting learning how to read. Like never mind like reading really fast. It's even better if you put it like a little bit blunter, make you regret learning how to read. I now have an entire brain cell devoted to Obama's gay Muslim wedding. And I regret just having that concept inside my head at all. I'm like, if this is how I get brain cancer, this is how I get brain cancer. So one thing I recommend is like one, that is just a very funny concept, but two, try to like a lot of comedy is being really, really general when you shouldn't be, or really, really specific when it's unnecessary. Like specificity is often what makes an example really funny. So like when I say Obama's gay Muslim wedding, one, that's a real thing I've seen on the front of a tabloid, but two, it's just a hilarious combination of concepts just train wrecking into each other. And like if you use like real or like escalating made up specific examples of tabloid bullshit, then it's even funnier, right? Yeah. So I would suggest just coming up with a list of those. Like maybe start with real ones that are crazy but actually exist, and then just like escalate. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know about an example of like when you're being really, really general is funny, but like, you know, if you said like, you know, there are, you know, more atoms in your body than there are atoms in the universe, which I assume is a lot. Like that's kind of like what I mean by like generalizing being also part of comedy, but like play with being way too general when it would make more sense to be specific, and being way too specific when it would make sense to be more general.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I thought when Jessica was talking, I thought one thing talking about bringing back the reading, which I regret reading. I feel like there's a joke about I don't know how to. There's a correlation between a tabloid being a pop-up book. I don't know how to like phrase it, but I just think there's something there. Just because like you're learning how to read when you're a kid, you read like fucking like pop-up books, right? So I think a tabloid would be like, oh, what's going on here? The alien spacecraft landed in Melrose Place. That was a really dated reference. Something like that.
Like you could also just the joke that immediately pops into my mind is just telling your first grade teacher to go fuck herself. Like, I don't know. Fuck you, Mrs. Schaefer from grade 1.
I told you Santa was real. It's right here. It's right here.
Look, hold up. I can't get behind the Santa thing ever until people I need people to admit that Santa's gay. Like, Santa's gay as shit. Red velvet suit, fur lined, knee high boots. He's either gay or he's a pimp. And I don't think people would invite a pimp into their homes once a year. No.
How? Sorry.
That's why it comes to the chimney.
I'm sure you're going there.
What do you think the elves do all year round? They need a job in June,
Rudolph,
don't
where
they?
my money?
Where is it?
They're massage attendants. They're all shirtless and oiled up like Blackman and Tyler Perry plays.
Oh,
that's terrible. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry, Dante. Just be you. That sounds so disingenuous, but I totally meant it. It's depression taking over. That's my tone. I have a monotone. Dante, with that opening act, did you want to? Oh wait, I just got a message from Heather. Oh, she's having troubles. Okay, if that's okay, Heather, we'll try again in the future for sure. No worries. So, did you want to have a 3 to 5 that you want to work on? Is it Santa related, or is it something else?
I got stuff. I got thoughts on my mind.
Okay. Then you start on the Easter Bunny.
As I told you guys before, I live in New Orleans, Louisiana, USA. The place where you can tell just how hot it is by how far people are standing from their friend who makes their own deodorant. And look, when the world begins again, what I would like is for when people come here to like handle your liquor better. Don't be like, don't piss yourself on Bourbon Street. Don't puke, like, don't do that. Like, they say time flies when you're having fun, but in New Orleans, time crawls around the floor, begging someone to bring it water while looking for his phone and promising not to drink that much again. So let's just. But like New Orleans has contributed something to me. There is a vendetta. I have a vendetta against everyone from New Orleans because no one told me, as a man who weighs more than 300 pounds, when I walked out of the airport, no one said, "Hey, bro, stop. You don't want to go out there. You'll burst into flame. Here's a ticket to Vancouver. Good luck to you." Like, let me know it was this hot. But like, so today, and this is the thing, I don't think Scott planned it this way, but today is a dual anniversary. The anniversary of the day I moved to New Orleans. It is also the anniversary 1 year ago I tried to kill myself. I almost became a saint and not a New Orleans Saint football player. I tried to overdose by eating 12 Baconators. I just ended up stuck on my couch with the meat sweats. Like, I didn't try because I was depressed. I tried so that no one could steal my material about it. You know what I mean? Like, you never walk into a comedy club and hear a small white woman going, "So there I was, wedged in this allegedly normal-shaped tub, and the drain had broken me in the taint. So I had to choose between oblivion and orgasm." You'll never hear that. I'm basically just really serious about copyright law. You know what I mean? And the key to suicide for me is logistics. I'm a comedian, can't afford a gun. And I'm a lot of man, and this is a very poorly made city. So if I try to hang myself, it's going down like dominoes. You know what I mean? I'm surprised there weren't really, like, it would have really came in handy for like back in the, like if I were this size back in the day, it would have came in handy for like lynchings, because how are you going to get me up in the tree? Really? How? Like, I'm surprised there weren't more fat black people back when people were being lynched and shit. Like, what you doing? Try not to get lynched, goddammit. Like, they would have had to cut me out the house to lynch me. Plus, I don't know how the afterlife works. I don't want to be floating over my body, like hearing the people finding me, like laugh, crying. Like, he survived the hanging attempt. He did not survive the roof collapse. You know what I mean? That's all I got.
Oh, fuck. That was so beautifully dark. So I wrote a couple of things. I put down, did you try to kill yourself or break a record?
I actually tried to kill myself 1 year ago today.
Well, I'm glad that you didn't, and that you're here to share that you tried.
I'm glad that you suck at least one thing.
I wrote down, can you even can you copyright a suicide note?
I think you can, sort of. I don't know. Mail
it to yourself. Yeah.
Walt Disney could probably.
And I have, and I can't, I'm not gonna make jokes about it. I'll make the premise though, because I'll be totally insensitive, and I'm not intentionally an asshole. Like, if you were a bigger person, how would you hang yourself? I feel like there's something there that you could touch on.
There were tresses and fucking scaffolds. None of it helped.
I feel like if you
need an engineering degree just to figure it out.
Like, if you try to hang yourself, you just kill everybody in the house but you.
You took out something structurally important and you brought the house down.
I should know that in.
Make sure you don't use a load bearing beam.
Like I guess if you ever be hung by a tree, I think like 4 trees maybe.
They'd all be leaning toward the middle.
You wouldn't die of suffocation, just exhaustion.
Tree's all wrong.
So dark.
So dark, dude. So dark.
You started it.
Stuff to me is the funniest.
Okay, good, because I get dark. But that was fucking funny. Good job, man.
Thank you.
Oh,
I can make one recommendation though. So I think that there needed to be a clearer line between two concepts you use in the suicide/copyright joke, because you're sort of referencing this commonly held industry idea of like jokes should be imbued with the perspective and like of the person who's delivering them. Like a joke you're making should be, it should be obvious that it's from you and it could be delivered by nobody else. Because you're just sort of going like from very quickly from the idea of like of like somebody taking the specifics of your fucked up suicide attempt and like trying to use them as like a white woman or like a thin white woman where like the details just wouldn't fit. I would warn that concept, it jumps to my mind immediately because I'm a comic, but with an audience that's less familiar with comedy, like comedy dialogue, interprofessional narratives, might be less familiar with that and might not immediately catch on. So it might need a clearer segue in.
Yeah, I should. I'll revisit it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm just worrying that the line of logic might be a bit too inside baseball. That being said, I think as long as it's clearly flagged, then it won't be difficult for an audience to grasp the concept just intuitively from what you're saying. I just want them to grasp that before they get to your punchline and go, what? And then go, oh, that's actually quite funny. Get the laugh before, get the logic and then get the laugh, rather than get the laugh and then the logic. Oh.
I also thought like you cut your wrist, but you trademark it.
That's right.
Like you have a logo. You have a logo or something. Like a Viacom thing, but it's your own little brand.
I draw a lightning streak, and somebody with like Touchstone Pictures would send me a deceased.
Yeah. Like
the suicide endorsed by Nike.
There's something there. I really think
for
there's something
sponsorship
there.
deals. Jasper Mattresses would probably go for it. I don't know. It's a podcasting joke.
Cutting infringement.
Oh.
I love that you like suing somebody for like cutting themselves in a way that replicates you. Sorry, I know what you were saying.
I was gonna say, you had the thing where it was the double anniversary.
Yes.
You could also play on the fact that I moved to Orleans and then I tried to kill myself just because of that, or like play off of that. And it was that hot that I was like, it's time to end this.
Or playing off of that, because I like what you're saying, but like I tried killing myself, not with this but that, but like I moved to New Orleans, like the slow way of time.
Yeah,
I've drank a whole bottle of wine since we've been sitting here. Killing myself.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then the other thing, when you were listing off the different methods, like gun, too expensive. What's it called? Beam, whatever.
Hanging. Too flimsy.
It could be like on the same line of yourself being a bigger guy. Pills, but I'm gonna need a lot. Same as the gun. It's too expensive.
That's a good one. I hadn't even thought of the pills.
That's good. That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
No, I have a weird tolerance for medication. Like I don't like. I'm black, so they wouldn't prescribe me opioids anyway. But like painkillers don't work on me. Like right now, I'm going with back pain because they were like, "Here, take these pills." Pain pills never work for me.
Damn.
Oh no.
So
How with drugs?
I've gotten Vicodin, I've gotten like the strong stuff, never work.
Damn.
Yeah.
Your tolerance must be pretty high then.
Yeah. I'm
Tolerance of
fat. I'm fat now. Even before I was fat, I still had the tolerance.
right.
It's very in tune with your emotions. You want to feel everything. You play the guitar at all? No.
I actually have been teaching myself the guitar with the app called Musician,
Oh shit.
and it's actually not bad. It's I will be able to play "Mary Had a Little Lamb" in like a year and a half. I'll figure it out. I've played chords that don't exist because I have fat fingers. So,
Of course, that don't exist. Oh, I love that you're artist, not because you want to use, because you're just born.
can't help it.
The side.
My hand is like 5 Italian sausages connected to a pack of hot dogs.
Oh, I love that concept of you inventing stuff that you're not trying to. It's just because you're size. It's funny. It's so funny. I think you should totally the dwell on that a bit more. Yeah, fucking Dante, you're always funny, man. I seen you last time and it was really funny. I forgot what your set was, but I remember like it was fucking funny and you went over.
Yeah, I went over. I was like, oh, I gotta write something shorter. And then I was like, I'm not sure if I have enough here. I was like, I'll make it enough.
It's it's all good. Like especially when like shows like this, like we're only at an hour right now, or 10 minutes, because like we're one person short. And sometimes even for 5, it's very like fast. Sometimes it's longer. It all depends. So on shorter shows, I don't mind if it's a little longer. I just say what you're at, and I'll rib at you here and there. But yeah, it's all good as long as we're all having fun. All right. Well, I guess I'll do my topic. So here's the thing. I'm actually going to be doing a 45-minute set in a couple of weeks, and yeah. I'm like, here's the thing. Like I've done it before, but like I'm not saying like I fucking crushed it, but like I've done it before barely. But I want to not use the same material I did BC wise before COVID. Like I hate my material, and I kind of want to like have some stuff that I use for the workshop for it. So one thing that I'm noticing that is a weakness towards these, like the only weakness for me doing these workshops is that I'm so used to reading my material that I don't know I forget how to remember it, like on stage. So it's like, oh, it's so awkward. So I'm not going to memorize it this one because it's because the one I did before this, I did a set live, and then so I already had it remembered. This one, I'm going to read verbatim. Then I'm going to try to study it for like every day, just so I can remember at least 30 minutes on material. Hope for the best. So that being said, here we go. I just want to put the timer on. It might be a little shorter than 5. We'll see. I've been in a weird place lately. Like I've been going through a lot of withdrawal because I haven't been exposed to pornography for 3 hours, and but I've been trying to quit this stuff so I can be a better person and lower the sexual expectations I have for any of my future partners. But it's so difficult. It's so difficult. You don't understand. Like I grew up watching porn. It was like Saturday morning cartoons to me, or as the Japanese call it, hentai. Don't arigato. For those of you who are unfamiliar with hentai, just imagine naked ninjas and the sexiest parts of an octopus. And before you judge my parents too harshly, just know they had no idea what I was watching. Like my dad would have me watching Satellite unattended because he figured it'd be cheaper than hiring a babysitter, and he was right. He was right. But as a result, my innocence was tainted at a very early age. Like out of your curiosity, does anyone remember the first time they were exposed to sex? And before you answer, walking in on your parents doesn't count unless you're holding the camera. I remember the first time I was exposed to sex. It was Vivid. That was the name of the network. But there were two attractive lesbian construction workers, which is such a stereotype because not all lesbians are attractive. And even as a kid, I knew they were construction workers because they were wearing orange vests, yellow hard hats of steel camel toes, and and one was wearing a standard regulation strap on. I assume she was the foreman because she was holding a clipboard. And she was just nailing her employee, which is such a great metaphor, right? Like, who knew that porn can get so deep? But then my dad walked in right when the union showed up, and that's all I could remember. And that's when it all started. Like, I like to tell you a cooler story. Like, I was bitten by a radioactive nympho, and that's why my dad stopped hiring babysitters. But no, just years of wear and tear, mostly tear. So it definitely affected how I pursue relationships. Like, to my core, to my deepest core, I'm a fairly insecure person to the point where I should be grateful to any beautiful woman that finds me attractive enough, right? But my penis, cockiest prick you'll ever meet. Nothing but supermodels and porn stars for him. Like, we are two complete opposites, but we tolerate one another like the weirdest buddy cop movie. It's like, Scott Porteous isn't the best cop. Stop! You're under arrest, please. Scott's penis is too hard on crime. I hope you're hungry, punk, because you're about to eat the pavement. But one day, several broken windows, flipping out the public, $2,000 in damages. Damn it, Scott's penis, you're a great cop, but your reckless ways are making us look bad. The mayor is on my ass right now. I'm sorry, Chief. The divorce has been really hard on me. I'm sorry, Scott's penis. You leave me no choice. I'm partnering you up. Can these two opposites find common ground? Hey, Scott's penis, I'm Scott. I look forward to working with you. Rule number 1, rookie, stay out of my way. Sometimes they argue. How do you know they weren't bisexual construction workers? but they always have each other's back. I got your back, partner, and I got your front. This season, prepare to be served hard time as we give you a life sentence of laughter in Good Cop, Bad Cop. I'll stop right there. That joke's hard to tell if you don't memorize all the lines.
It will be rough.
But yeah, that's a good 4 minutes for me.
That's fucking I would like with the stereotype thing. You should have went with, well, not should have. Like, I hate to tell somebody they should or should. Like, I was thinking, instead of going with not all lesbians are attractive, you go, not all construction workers are attractive. I don't care what the calendars keep telling us.
That's a good spin too. I just like the hit of it, like just the boom. Sometimes it's offensive, and that's the thing. It's not meant to call, like, it's just like anybody can be unattractive, right? So, but when people hear that, they're like, "Oh, that's just like sexist or misogynistic." Like, no, we all have the ability to be ugly. Like, that's all I was trying to say, but people take it the wrong way, and I love that.
I just love the other kind of logical option of this combination. Like, well, they're not all attractive, but apparently they're all construction workers. That's where my mind went to. I don't
know. That was the first porn I remember as a kid. So that was it.
Another thing I thought you could add is like, for when he's the chief is pairing them together, he's like, "Hey, Scott's penis, here's your new right-hand man."
I will swear by that as well. I thought you needed more.
Sorry, you're breaking up, Jessica. I can't hear you. Sorry.
Right. I'm going to side with Elner on this one and say you needed more, like, obvious masturbation / penis wordplay.
Okay.
I think it should be denser, more penis.
Like just commit all the way, because like it's the whole, like, it's fucking ridiculous as it is anyways kind of thing.
Yes, exactly. It's already very over the top. It's already has the image. I should make almost every other line should have like a penisy pun.
Right, because it's an 80s cop buddy movie too anyway, so it's got to be cheesy.
Oh, yeah.
Is that like, because I tried telling that joke on live a couple times, and like it's hard to tell because you have to fucking commit to that one. But do you guys think like it's funny enough to like go all the way with?
Yeah,
Yes.
it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Scott's penis, not gonna stroke your ego. Like,
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just,
yeah.
I got the mayor on my ass on this one. Like, you're good to come up. It's your renegade ways. Okay. Yeah, I'll think it's more penis times then.
oh, penis puns.
I appreciate that.
Isn't that what society was really built on when you think about like movies and TV?
The advent of civilization.
Hashtag destroy the patriarchy.
Yeah.
More
That's-
yonic architecture.
That's another thing too. I noticed I can't change it because I have a lot of niche references, and that's just who I am. Like my hentai thing. Like, I know not everybody would get it. That's why I add that little octopus part, right? But I think that's a funny line. The
Yeah.
Saturday morning cartoons.
I like that sequence too, with
I do,
everything up to
yeah.
like the Domo Arigato. Everything was like boom, boom, boom. I like that
Yeah.
sequence.
Okay, because that's the thing. Like I noticed, like basically, if if you're not paying attention, like I'm already 3 jokes ahead of you. Not to sound like, but that's just how I roll,
Yeah.
right? So if I say a joke you don't get, if you would have listened like 3 jokes ago, you know what I mean? And it's frustrating at times because I get caught. I get fucking like in a pit at times because people didn't hear that one joke because something like maybe I talk too fast. I know I do. But yeah, so cool. All right.
But you know what?
Like, you do a lot of thinking on stage. I don't do that. I don't. I don't like. I have.
I want that. I want what you
my
do.
bullet points. I have my bullet points and my one-liners that I've written. But like when I
Right.
go on stage, I want the crowd to feel like we're just having a conversation. We're just talking. And I'm just a ridiculous dude outside a bar that is telling you these ridiculous things that he thinks.
Yeah, and I'm getting to the point right now where it's like I just like I'll tell my jokes, but I don't fucking care how they respond. It's like they're funny to me, like that, and I don't know what that translates. If people don't laugh, then like that's the worst advice. Like it's not funny. It's all on you, but I don't care anymore. I've been doing this for so long. I'm just like that grizzled. Like fuck whatever.
Rashid, good though. I once met Ron White, a friend of mine. I was doing Star Bar in Atlanta, and a friend of mine, Rodney, he was like, "Hey man, I got a surprise for you. Just come, you perform, but it's gonna be great." And so basically, he had me open for Ron White.
That's awesome.
And then afterward, we're in the green room, and Ron White I go, Mr. White. He's go, "This fucking Ron, man." And I go, "Ron, man, what's your secret? Like you're just this funny, relatable dude." He was like, "The key is don't give a fuck if they laugh or not." And ever since, and at first I was like, "Wait, what?" And then, when I started doing that, I'm gonna do my shit. I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability. I don't give a fuck if you laugh or not.
Yeah, once it comes out, it's out. You care when you say it, but the moment you let it out, it's already in the past.
Exactly. And once you stop giving so much of a fuck as far as whether they laugh or not, that's when they laugh.
Yeah, it's so fucking weird how that works.
I don't know this from my own experience in terms of telling jokes, but if you do that sequence, because you're preparing for a longer set, right? And if you have that sequence and somebody didn't follow or missed a joke, the next time, because they see somebody else laughing, and oh, I missed something, so they might start listening more.
Yeah, that's fair.
That more in if you have a longer set.
And the thing is also I try not to do one-liners are hard to do for 45 minutes. I always try to have longer stories, you know what I mean. I try to change the tempo so it's not lack of a better, not boring, but just you hear this all the way. Kind of you're restless, I guess would be the word to use. So yeah, I try to change the tempos a bit. I try to get personal too. That's why this is right before my escort story actually. Which I still haven't perfected yet, but god damn, I'm gonna do it.
Man, this I feel this is stronger than the escort story. I like this set. I like this set a lot. It was
very short.
Okay, well, I got to work on my escort story then, because that's based on true events. It cost me $500.
That's a narrative. This is more into your being, like who you are, and
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
affects you. Which
Well,
is
that story. Sorry.
oh no, which is like when you give somebody, like you can give them a narrative and they're like, oh, that's great.
Right.
But when you give them a piece of you that you may not have even wanted to share it. You may just have blurted out something that had been funny and you tell them a story.
Right.
When you give them a piece of you that feels like, okay, I'm sharing with you emotionally, 100% more reaction.
Okay. Yeah, no, for sure. And that's the thing, like, I might go a bit more personal about my personality in that story. Like, I'll have jokes, but I'll try to put things that, like, I didn't think that were funny, but, like, stuff that I did, because I didn't fucking, like, I won't go into the, but, like, one of those things I took out was how, like, when we discussed, like, where we're going to meet, I didn't, like, I have trust issues. So I didn't want to be at her house in case someone tried to, like, jump me. So I, like, in my car. Because nothing happens, I can drive off. Like, that was my fucking mentality. And yeah, I didn't think that was that funny, but that is who I am. But yeah, no, for sure. I don't want to go too off on a tangent. Thank you everybody for the feedback. Always appreciated. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I hope you guys had a lot of fun too. And if you have anything you wanted to share, any projects you're working on, any shows you're doing, any social media that you would like to share. Sorry, spread's a weird word to say. Please, first before you say it here, message me in the Facebook group, the actual group chat on Facebook, and because I just copy and paste it. I'm very lazy. I don't like fucking typing. Control C and Control V. Whatever you put, I'll paste. And that being said, Jessica, is there anything you wanted to share?
No, I'm a usual podcast. I'm at Fat, French, and Fabulous. It is a
Awesome.
history and true crime podcast.
Great.
You want to
And
see what I'm like when I'm trying to be nerdy.
Trying, no. Fair enough. And Elner, did you have anything you wanted to?
I do not have anything upcoming.
No worries. It's all good. And Dante, you have anything you want to promote?
I'm currently writing a book no one will read. I'm currently writing a movie no one will see, and
dude, that's awesome.
Different aspects of my life. But if you want to hear the ridiculous stuff that I post or print, you can find me Dante Hale Comedy on Facebook, Harsh Words WF on Twitter, Harsh Words WF on Instagram.
Awesome. And please, once again, copy and paste all that on the group so I can post it. But yeah, this was a lot of fun, and I hope we all got something out of it other than entertainment, as well as some education and on our jokes and ideas and all that. And yeah, it's been a pleasure to see you all again. And thank you everybody watching on Facebook Live and being too shy to comment. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope we have a lot more coming. This is 70 right now. This is insane that we're going this far. So yeah, it's wicked, and I'm proud, and I'm happy that you're all supporting this. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your night. Tomorrow we'll be back with a different host. Bilal Swain will be with a whole new different panel of comedians, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your night. The broadcast is now ending.